Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our UCEAP Lower Division STEM Requirements Abroad Info session. My name is Ana Arellano, and I'm an advisor at the UCLA International Education Office. So today we'll be talking about a couple programs that are provided by UCEAP. We'll touch upon the programs in which you can satisfy lower division physics, organic chemistry, and or linear algebra requirements. We'll then dive into the cost and funding for these programs and provide you with the next steps to apply before we conclude with the Q&A session. So what is UCEAP? UCEAP is an acronym for University of California Education Abroad Program. This is a system-wide study abroad program that encompasses all the UC campuses. So on a UCEAP program, students are guaranteed to have the UC units and the UC grades transferred to the UCLA record. And typically students are required to submit a petition to satisfy any UCLA requirements. Our office, the IEO, we have petitioned 3 specific programs that will help you satisfy lower division STEM requirements. This is for physics, for OChem, and linear algebra. And then we have also petitioned to satisfy a potential historical or social analysis GE. For physics, we will be discussing 2 programs. This is the Dublin Science and Engineering program and the Glasgow Science and Engineering. We have organic chemistry, which is offered within the Dublin Science and Engineering program, the same one that physics is offering in. And finally, we have the linear algebra in Rome program. So first, we'll go ahead and speak about physics. What is summer physics abroad? So UCEAP offers 2 distinct programs in which 2 different universities provide their own physics curriculum. On these programs, students can satisfy part of UCLA's introductory physics series. The 2 programs that we have to offer are the Dublin Science and Engineering in Ireland, hosted by University College Dublin. And next, we have a Glasgow Science and Engineering in Glasgow in the UK and Scotland, offered by the University of Glasgow. If you're interested in satisfying the physics for life science track, you have the option to choose from the 2 options. So that would be University College Dublin and University of Glasgow. We do also offer the physics for physical science track, but this is only offered at the University of Glasgow. There's only one option for the physical science track. On the summer physics programs, you will be abroad for 8 weeks. This is from mid-June to mid-August. And like I mentioned, you will satisfy part of the introductory physics series. If you're interested in the physics for life science track, you would satisfy physics 5A and 5B. Those interested in the physics for physical science track at the University of Glasgow will satisfy physics 1A and 1B. On the summer physics programs, you will also enroll in a non-STEM elective. And I'm a visual person, so I like to visual this out for you. This is a quick example of how the summer physics program will look like in Dublin. So for physics for life science, you will be enrolling in physics 1 for the first 4 weeks, and you will be earning a total of 4 units for that course. The second portion of the program, so the last 4 weeks, you will be enrolling in physics 2 and earning a total of 4 units. You also, like I mentioned, you will be enrolling in a non-STEM elective. On this program, you have the option of choosing the elective. So students on this program can select from either the Great Hunger or the Early Christian Ireland program. The non-STEM elective will be taken concurrently with the physics course and will be a total of 4 units. So overall, summer physics in Dublin will total you for abroad for 8 weeks and a total of 12 UC units. The elective in Dublin has been pre-approved by the college. If you're interested in satisfying the social analysis GE, that's satisfied by the Great Hunger course, as well as Early Christian Ireland, which will satisfy the historical analysis or social analysis GE. That is an or, so you cannot satisfy both. You have to choose between either the historical or the social analysis course. I do want to note that this is a provisional approval, meaning you are guaranteed to satisfy the mentioned GE, but you are still required to submit a petition. And I'll speak a little bit more about that afterwards. So for the summer physics in Glasgow, similarly, the course structure will look the same. We have 2 tracks, the life science and the physical science. For life science, you will enroll in physics 1 for the first 4 weeks, earn 4 units. You will then, for the last 4 weeks, enroll in physics 2, earning another 4 units. And finally, the non-STEM elective for this program in Glasgow is Scotland and the World. Similarly to Dublin, you will be taking it concurrently with the physics course. You will earn a total of 4 units, putting you at abroad for 8 weeks for a total of 12 UC units. And it's the same structure for both the life science and the physical science. The key difference is the physics course that you will be taking. The Glasgow elective has also been pre-approved. It's been pre-approved by the college to satisfy the historical analysis GE, and it's been pre-approved by the School of Engineering to satisfy the historical or social analysis GE. Once again, that's an or, so either one can be satisfied. Also, a provisional approval, and you're guaranteed the credit, just petition is still required once that it's all applicable on your UCLA record. So now let's dive into the organic chemistry program. The organic chemistry program is offered by University College Dublin in Ireland. And once again, they offer their own chemistry curriculum, and that's been pre-approved to satisfy part of UCLA's chemistry series. This program is known as Dublin Science and Engineering, also offered by University College Dublin. This is an 8-week program. This is from mid-June to mid-August, and it's been pre-approved by the UCLA Chemistry Department to satisfy Chemistry 30A, Chemistry 30AL, Chemistry 30B, and Chemistry 30BL. On this program, students will enroll in 2 classes consecutively, meaning back-to-back. You will enroll in Organic Chemistry 1 for the first 4 weeks and earn a total of 6 units for that course. In the last 4 weeks, you will enroll in Organic Chemistry 2 for 4 weeks and earn a total of 6 units. So you will be abroad total for 8 weeks and earning 12 UC units. Now let's speak about linear algebra. So linear algebra is offered by UCEAP at the UC Center in Italy, and their curriculum has been pre-approved to satisfy a UCLA Math and AGE course. The specific study center in Italy is sponsored by Accent, and like I mentioned, it is in Rome. So this program is 6 weeks. It takes place from mid-June to late July, and you will enroll in 2 classes concurrently at the same time. So the first course you will be enrolling in is linear algebra, and this will total you for 5 units. And you also have the option to choose which elective you want to enroll in. You have the option of enrolling in ancient Roman civilization or Italy, territory, food, and anthropology. This STEM elective, either one that you choose, would be earning you a total of 5 units. So for a total of 6 weeks abroad, earning 10 UC units. The math course, the linear algebra course, has been pre-approved by the UCLA Math Department to satisfy Math 33A. I do want to note that students who do enroll in this program are satisfying this requirement. You will be missing Chapter 7 of the textbook that's normally taught at UCLA. You're still guaranteed the credit. This will mostly affect students of just pursuing a physical science degree, but I do want to make note that you will be missing that portion if you do decide to pursue this program, but still approved to satisfy Math 33A. The electives has also been pre-approved. If you're part of the college, ancient Roman civilization has been pre-approved to satisfy the historical analysis GE, and the Italy, territory, food, and anthropology course has been pre-approved to satisfy the social analysis GE. If you're part of the School of Engineering, the Ancient Roman Civilization course has been pre-approved to satisfy the historical or social analysis GE, and the Italy, territory, food, and anthropology course has been pre-approved to satisfy the social analysis GE. One thing I do want to know about the transfer credit that's applicable to all programs, but it is very important. Like I mentioned earlier, all coursework, your grades, your units, they will automatically transfer to your UCLA record, and they will factor into your UCLA GPA. But one thing to note is that there is no transcript available from the host university or your program. And this is because everything is transferred into your UCLA record. So everything's converted into UC credit, which is why there is no transcript. An extra step is required, like I mentioned earlier, to fulfill the requirements. Once everything appears on your UCLA record, you would then speak with your major advisor or your primary advising unit, you're part of the college, for the next step to have those courses automatically appear on your record. I'm sorry, to satisfy the requirement. So they will appear. This is just an extra step for them to manually enter where it's supposed to be allocated to satisfy the requirements. Like I mentioned, the petition is still required for those provisional GE approvals. So just something to do keep in mind. You're guaranteed the credit. It's just an additional step that's required once you return and once all the grades have appeared on your UCLA record. Another thing I do want to note is about medical school. We can assure you that this curriculum we guarantee that you would satisfy the courses that were listed, the pre-requirements. One thing we cannot guarantee is that medical school will accept this credits. Historically, we haven't had any cases where this has been an issue for students, but this is just one to note, because when you are applying to medical school, they may ask for a transcript from your host university abroad. And like I mentioned, there is no host university. So just something to do keep in mind. Check in with the respective medical school if that's something you're considering, to see if they would validate this credit, if they would accept that. Actually, one thing I want to know back on our medical school requirements, but there is no transcript, but if needed, what our office can do is provide you a letter of support saying why there is no transcript, just to further help in your application process. I do want to mention that. So now I want to dive a little bit more in what to expect at that respective university and the respective curriculum when you are abroad. So first, we'll start with physics at the University of Glasgow. Glasgow, it's famed for its Victorian architecture. It's a huge cultural hub, and it's actually, if you're a Harry Potter fan, it was the inspiration to Hogwarts. And the city of Glasgow itself, you can explore many museums, you can tour the Glasgow Cathedral, or you can visit the Scottish Highlands. The campus itself, it's very famously known for its Gothic arched windows, the hallways. This hallway that actually is where once Einstein once lectured, so I think that's a very fun fact. The campus itself is located within Glasgow's Bohemian West End neighborhood. So kind of put it to perspective on where you will be. There is a meal plan at the University of Glasgow. You will receive breakfast, lunch, and dinner Monday through Friday afternoon. You will be responsible for meals beginning Friday evening through Sunday. For housing, you will have a single room, you will have a shared bath in a 2 to 5 person residence, and it's about a 15-minute walking distance to class. On screen, I also have a bit.ly that will guide you directly to the Glasgow Science Engineering UCEAP page, where you can learn a little bit more if you are interested. Next, we'll speak about University College Dublin. This information applies to both the physics program in Dublin as well as the organic chemistry. Dublin, it's known for its welcoming residents. It's a very student-friendly atmosphere. When you are in Dublin, you can visit the Stone of Destiny. You can explore your inner royalty. You can go to the Dublin Castle. It's all at a short distance. The campus itself, it's a modern university. Think about the modern sections of UCLA. So, for example, excuse me, the South Campus, Sunset Village. The campus itself is a 25-minute bus ride to the city center, so not too far as well. Dublin, you are provided a meal plan as well. You have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's provided Monday through Friday at the campus cafeteria. But you are responsible for your meals during the weekend. In Dublin, you will have a private bedroom and in a shared 4 to 6 bedroom apartment. You also have a shared kitchen and a living room, and this is approximately a 5-minute walk to class, so short distance. Linear algebra, let's speak about the Accent Study Center in Rome. So in Rome, quite honestly, Rome is a living museum. You'll have art displayed everywhere, history everywhere you walk. When you are in Rome, you can visit the Colosseum, you can visit the Sistine Chapel, or there's a famous saying, if you toss your coin over your left shoulder at the fountain at Trevi, your wish will come true. So you can explore that while you are in Rome. Study center itself, it's located in the historic center of the city. Within the center, you'll find all the resources that you need when you are in Italy. This includes more program information. They can even give you travel advice if you're interested in traveling during your free time in Italy. There is no meal plan in the linear algebra in Rome program. For housing, you will be having a shared bedroom and a bathroom in a student resident complex. And this is located specifically in the San Lorenzo neighborhood. If you want to do a quick website search to see what that is like, this is approximately a 45 to 60-minute commute to class. This is quite a commute, but like I mentioned, historical, it's art everywhere that you see in Rome. So now let's dive in a little bit more into the program cost and funding. What can you expect? So the physics program in Dublin is estimated to be at $14,236. This is an estimate. Prices can lower or they can increase. This estimate for all programs includes everything students are expected to pay while they are abroad. That includes the meals, that includes housing, that includes transportation, that includes tuition, that includes your airfare, that includes any kind of travel fee. So for example, if you don't have a passport just yet, it includes that passport fee. So everything is included on here. So like I mentioned, the price can decrease. So for example, let's say they budget $1,000 for your flight and you're able to find an $800 airfare round trip, then you save $200 and that'd be a total of $14,000. So this is just a very rough estimate. Like I mentioned, encompasses everything you're expected to incur while you are abroad. So physics in Dublin's at total at 14,236. We have our physics in Glasgow program. Both the life science and the physical science track are totaled at 13,288. Our organic chemistry program is totaled at 14,720. And lastly, we have our linear algebra in Rome program that's totaled at 11,065. Frequent questions that we get regarding funding for this program. Can I use my financial aid to study abroad? The answer is yes. If you wish to continue using your UCLA financial aid, as long as you continue to be eligible, complete your FAFSA, you can use that financial aid. And I'll dive into that a little bit more on the next slide. And there are also scholarships that are available and that I would encourage you to apply if you qualify and if you are interested. I have a hyperlink down below, so it's ieo.ucla.edu/scholarships. There's some scholarships that are provided through our office, others are provided by UCEAP, and it's also links for external databases or scholarships that we are aware of that may help, as well as funding the cost of this program. Also, if you have any questions about scholarships, we can connect with me as well via email, via drop-ins, and I can point out some that I would recommend or how to find scholarships as well. I'm always happy to help. So for finances, like I mentioned, for financial aid, if you continue to be eligible, you can receive financial aid to cover the cost of these programs. When we speak about financial aid, we speak about grants, scholarships, and loans. You can use these funds to cover your summer study abroad program, which is the ones we are offering now. One thing I do want to note is that financial aid during the summer can be more loan heavy. There are some grants that are available during the academic year that are unfortunately not available during the summer. So just something to do keep in mind that financial aid during the summer does tend to be more loan heavy. To receive this financial aid, you will complete the FAFSA for the academic school year 2022 to 2023. Additionally, if you do receive the Cal waiver, it is eligible to cover the tuition of this program. I do hope I captured your attention to apply to any one of these three programs, and I'm going to dive in a little bit more on how to apply if you are interested. First and foremost, we'll go into the eligibility portion. So to be eligible to participate in the Physics in Dublin program, you must have sophomore, junior, or senior class standing before departure. You must have a minimum of a 2.5 UC GPA, and you must complete Math 3AB or 31AB or ALICE 30AB by the end of winter 2022. We also accept any equivalents of DARS if you have any AP credit, community college, or other university equivalents. So that's accepted, that's okay. And finally, you must be in good academic standing. To be eligible for the Glasgow Life Science track, you must have sophomore, junior, or senior class standing. You must have a minimum of 2.75 UC GPA. You must complete Math 30AB, 31AB, or ALICE 30AB by the end of winter 2022. Once again, we also take equivalents per DARS, and you must have good academic standing. Physics in Glasgow, the physical science track, you must have sophomore, junior, or senior class standing before departure, minimum 2.75 GPA, and the courses you must complete are Math 31AB and 32A. We do recommend 32B, though it is not required. These courses must be completed by the end of winter 2022, and once again, have good academic standing. For our organic chemistry program, sophomore, junior, or senior class standing is required before departure. You must have a minimum of a 2.85 UC GPA, and you must complete Math 31A and 31B, as well as Chemistry 20A and 20B. Finally, having good academic standing. And last but not least, we have our linear algebra in Rome program. Students must have a sophomore, junior, or senior class standing before departure, have a minimum of a 2.0 UC GPA, and complete Math 3B, 31B, or 32A. Once again, also accept equivalent per DARS and good academic standing. I do want to make note that all these prerequisites that we are stating, these are the same requirements that students must meet before enrolling in these respective courses at UCLA. So we're simply following the same guidelines. deadlines. Just want to make sure that you are well prepared before you begin the next series or next course that's required. To create your application, you visit my.uceap.universityofcalifornia.edu and begin your application. On screen in bold, I have the official name of these programs. So if you're interested in physics or in Dublin, the official program name is Dublin Science and Engineering, and we're under the Physics and Irish Culture track. You'll have a couple of tracks to choose from. For physics, it's Physics and Irish Culture. We have our Glasgow Science and Engineering, Physics and Scottish Culture. For Glasgow, you'll notice there are two tracks, Physics for Life Science and Physics for Engineers. Just depending on the track that you're interested in, you would apply to either or. For Dublin Science and Engineering, we have also the Organic Chemistry program. So if you're interested in organic chemistry, you will also have the option to select from physics, so just make sure you're selecting organic chemistry. And finally, very less complicated, we have our Linear Algebra and Rome program. It's the only program name, it's the only track, so that one's much simpler to find. To successfully complete your application, you must submit both the UCEAP application and the UCLA IEO questionnaire. Both are located within the UCEAP portal. The questionnaire is located within the instructions and requirements. And then as a final step, any one of these that are missing, an application will be incomplete. Our physics and organic chemistry deadlines are approaching. They are next week. They are the 14th of January. And finally, our linear algebra in Rome program, the deadline is the 22nd of February. So we still have a bit of a while. So get started on those applications. I would encourage you to do. Now, if you have any questions, please enter them in the Q&A function. I do see a couple, so I'll go ahead and start addressing those. Okay. So we have one. How could I connect with students who have gone through the Dublin OCHM program? Very good question. You send me an email. We do have a couple of returnees who are willing to speak more about the program via email, conversation. One thing I do want to know is the last time that we did have someone abroad on these programs for both OCHM and physics was in 2019. So it's 2 year difference, 19, 20, 21, almost 3. So just something to keep in mind, but definitely connect with me. I do have my email. I have it on screen. There we go. Shoot me an email and then I can go ahead and connect you with the respective person. If you're interested in speaking with someone with a specific major, that would also help in finding that respective returnee for you. If any of the countries, including these programs, but also your other summer study abroad programs require quarantine, how will that work? I assume these programs start right after the spring quarter finals week, correct? So these will start soon after the spring quarter ends. If quarantine is needed, the host university does have their protocols already listed out. All students, before they go abroad, they will have an orientation with UCEAP as well as the host university, in which they will lay out everything that a student must know regarding COVID-19. If vaccines are required, they will tell them there. If someone were to test positive, they will as well let them know the protocols and steps to follow. I do want to emphasize that students are not alone while they are abroad. We do have the respective staff on site that are available to students at all times should any incident happen. How rigorous is the life science physics in Glasgow? Very good question. I do want to say that these courses, they're not easy. They're not the easy way out in not taking physics at UCLA. They are rigorous. They are fast paced. You're taking 2 quarters of a physics in 8 weeks. So that's quite intense. I do want to say that we do also want students to have a study abroad experience. So they are rigorous, they are fast paced, but they do have some downtime for students to enjoy their study abroad experience as well. They also have extracurricular activities planned out, some excursions free of cost. So it is rigorous, it is fast paced, but they do have some fun layered out into there as well. Does sophomore mean current sophomore or incoming sophomore? Very good question. Sophomore standing means before you start. So if you're a current first year and you will have enough units to classify you as a sophomore or a second year before during the summer, then that's what it would count as. So class standing before departure, not the time you apply. For the organic chemistry program, if I am taking the 14 series concurrently, would I qualify if I complete the 14A and 14B? It may. I'd encourage you to check in with your respective major advisor to see if they would allow enrolling in the 30A and 30B courses. That should be okay, but just double check with them. We're following the same protocols that UCLA does, so if they say it's okay, then it's okay with us. Not a problem. Is Cal Grant accepted for Glasgow? Yes, for funding, yes, it is accepted. I'm not very certain if it's available during the summer. I'd encourage you to connect with the financial aid office to see what aid or what type of aid and grants, loans, and scholarships are available during the summer to fund the program. But financial aid, yes, it's applicable. Is there an application fee? No application fee, free of cost. If you decide to apply today and decide to withdraw tomorrow, decide to withdraw within 2 weeks, that is okay. It is free of cost. There is a withdrawal deadline that's typically in around April or May, in which any withdrawals after that deadline, students are subject to a minimum 500 withdrawal fee. But there is no fee to apply or withdraw before that deadline. As a biology major, would it be beneficial to take linear algebra abroad? It's a very good question. I definitely encourage a conversation with your biology major advisor, just because they review your academic plan. They can layer out your 4-year plan at UCLA, see what courses you have to take versus which are more optional versus one that are not required. If they require linear algebra, then this is an opportunity to kind of get out of the ballpark while also enjoying study abroad experience. But I would encourage a conversation with your academic advisor to see if they would encourage enrollment in this linear algebra course. What is the flexibility of the programs in terms of cancellations, refunds because of COVID? Very good question. So now, and like I mentioned, any withdrawals before that deadline are free of cost. This current academic year, so 2021 to 2022, any withdrawals due to COVID or cancellations, there are no fees that our student is responsible for. Those are all waived. We currently understand the situation, so we know the concern that's around it. For UCEAP cancellations, if you have already paid any sort of fees to UCEAP and the program is canceled, you would receive a full refund. If you withdraw after the deadline and the program is still scheduled to run, but you have COVID concerns, send us an email and then we can go ahead and see what type of fees may be excusable. Like I mentioned, the current situation is 2021 to 2022 fees are excused. For 2022 to 2023, those fees are not layered out just yet. Is the physics abroad program in Sussex being offered? It is still being offered, however, not for UCLA students. The Sussex program is no longer available to UCLA. It's only available to different UC campuses. So our UCLA students only have the option between University College Dublin in Ireland and University of Glasgow in Scotland. How many students typically attend each of the programs? Very good question. We usually have in the hundreds. Our highest peak in 2019 was 400 students. That's about 100 students in each program. This year, we're expecting a smaller portion of students that are interested, mainly because the students that were interested already satisfied their physics requirements, or there's a location that unfortunately is no longer available. So you're looking into a class or a cohort at UCLA about roughly 100 students each, 80 to 100 students each. And that's only UCLA students. There are other UC students, for example, from Berkeley, from Santa Barbara, that are still included in this cohort. So it's quite a few students that are attending these programs. Could you go over petitioning? Yes. So petitioning is not required for these programs. Everything has already been pre-approved. We have petitioned for you. So there's no need to worry about that. The one thing that is required is that once you complete these programs, once you return to UCLA and once your grades appear on your UCLA record, so DARS, your transcript, you would then speak with your major advisor or your primary advising unit if you're part of the college, for example, or School of Engineering. Let them know you participated on this program and simply have to have them manually enter it. Though the official petitioning is not required, like I mentioned, you don't need to figure out which course is required. The petitioning paperwork for the college, for example, is still required, and that's simply so that they can do that manual entry that I was speaking about. So that would be gathering the syllabi, letting them know, hey, I participated in this program. They pre-approved it, so it's simply them receiving the paperwork. That way they can manually transfer it from your DARD record not satisfying anything to satisfying something. Once again, once all the courses appear in your record, you speak with the college. The college, you would submit that transfer petition. For all others, it's simply speaking with your major advisor, the college, school, saying you participated on these programs, and having them manually enter that satisfying the requirements. It's a little bit of a complicated situation, but you're guaranteed the requirements. I can dive in a little bit more if needed. I hope that clarifies, but if not, please let me know. Does the program fee include air tickets? Yes. So the estimated total, it's not the program fee, but the estimated total amount that does include a round trip airfare. So they estimate, depending on what they look like from California, specifically Los Angeles, to go abroad, they do include that estimate in the total amount. Are applications competitive? No, they are not. As long as you meet the requirements for these programs and submit it before the deadline, you are guaranteed a spot on these programs. So for example, meeting the math prerequisites or the chemistry requirements, the GPA, as long as you meet all of those and submit your application before the deadline, you're guaranteed a spot on this program. So I wouldn't say they're competitive. Just as long as you meet the requirements, you're good to go. How much was the Scotland program? Very good question. I can go ahead and go back just a couple slides. I believe it was about 13,000 if I'm not mistaken. So physics in Glasgow, 13,288. That was the total cost. Can I apply and later decide to not go once the dates get closer? Yes, that is possible. Depending on the program that you're interested in, the withdrawal deadline may differ. Right off the bat, I can guarantee that the withdrawal deadline for physics and for OChem is April 1st. I believe the withdrawal deadline for linear algebra in Rome is in May. I can double check that. But yes, you can withdraw as the date gets closer. Like I mentioned, there is that withdrawal deadline. Any withdrawals after that date are subject to a minimum 500 withdrawal fee. If you have any COVID concerns before the withdrawal deadline comes, reach out to me, let me know your concerns. Very understandable, and we can see what we can do, what the fees look like if there were any withdrawals after that deadline. Is the application process very selective? No, it's a first come, well, actually it's not a first come first serve. As long as you meet the requirements, submit your application before the deadline, you're good to go. You're guaranteed a spot. Nominations are coming on a rolling basis. So if you, let's say you submit your application today, your application should be processed within 48 hours, which means that you should receive your nomination if you meet the eligibility requirements by Monday, for example. So relatively soon you'll hear back of whether you've been accepted to the program. How competitive is the acceptance into the program? Yep, so like I mentioned, as long as you meet the requirements, submit your application on time, there is no competitiveness. We want to make sure that all students have the opportunity to, one, go abroad, and two, fulfill the necessary requirements that they need that can help them either stay on track for graduation or even kind of get ahead of the game. So no competitiveness in being accepted into these programs. When is a life science physics in Glasgow? So these programs are from mid-June to mid-August. The exact dates, I do not have them on hand with me, but I do have them. If you want to know those specific dates, please send me an email and I can go ahead and provide those to you. But you're looking into mid-June to mid-August, 8 weeks. Typically the week after that UCLA spring quarter ends. Sorry, I think you answered this, but my Wi-Fi is out. How many students typically attend the organic chemistry program? Very good question. Organic chemistry is a smaller cohort. You're looking at about 30 students, and that's the entire UC system. So it's about a typical discussion class at UCLA, I want to say. So about roughly 30. How much is Glasgow without the estimates? Just housing and tuition. Glasgow provides the exact budget breakdown on their UCEAP program page. You can go to bit.ly/Glasgow UCEAP, and that'll take you directly to the UCEAP program page where you can find the cost. It breaks down the fees, including the tuition, what's estimated for the housing, what's estimated for the airfare. So everything that's included in that budget. where can we find this recording after the Zoom meeting ends? It will be available tomorrow on our UCLA Study Abroad YouTube page. I will also be sending the recording out to you all tomorrow once it goes live. Since you all registered for this event, I do have your email, so I will be able to send that directly to you. And you also have my email available should you have any questions after this Zoom meeting ends. Would it be possible if you go back to the Scotland summary of the environment? If possible, I'd like to take a picture of the information. Sure, absolutely, not a problem. I can go ahead and go back as I answer a couple of other questions. You mentioned Glasgow, the city, and the university. There we go. Does Glasgow intersect for summer session C? In May is from mid-June to mid-August. Shoot me an email and let me know you're interested in Glasgow, and I can provide you the exact dates. I know there are some courses in summer session C that have a later starter date than others. So depending on the courses you're interested in, it may intersect. But like I said, send me an email and then hopefully I'm able to provide a confirmation if it does or does not interact with summer session C at UCLA. If you have any other questions, please let me know, enter them in the Q&A. I'm going over our chat now. I see there are a couple items that we did not get to. I believe I touched upon them. So Sussex, unfortunately, is no longer offered for UCLA students. This program is not selective. As long as you meet the eligibility requirements, you should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and go back just to the ending of our presentation where we have our contact information. I'll stick around for another 5 minutes or so if you have any questions. Otherwise, my email is on screen. So it's aarellano@ieo.ucla.edu. Please send me an email with any questions or concerns that you may have. If you want a copy of the slides, I can also send them to you. Like I mentioned, I oversee these 3 programs. So if you want more, if you want to dive in more into the specifics, what can you expect more about housing, the type of food, type of returnees that are available to speak with you. We can schedule a one-on-one and we can dive in a little bit deeper than we did during this presentation. That was just more general information. Like I mentioned, I do hope I captured your attention to apply to any one of these 3 programs. I hope you have a great rest of your day and thank you so much for attending today's webinar.